Welcome to the explainer. If you're supporting a child with autism, it can feel like you're just drowning in complex research and advice. So our goal today is to cut right through all that noise. We're going to build a really simple but incredibly powerful framework, piece by piece, based on what the science actually tells us works to help a child really thrive. So let's just start with why this is so important right now. As of 2022, 1 in 31 children is diagnosed with autism. Let that sink in for a second. That's a huge increase in just a couple of decades, and it means that more families than ever are looking for a stable, effective support system. So what does one actually look like? To make sense of it all, we're going to use this really powerful metaphor, the three-legged stool. Just picture it. Think of your child's development like this stool. It has three essential legs holding them up: parents, teachers, and peers. Now, if any one of those legs is kind of wobbly, the whole thing feels unstable, right? But when all three are strong and they're working together, that's when you create a foundation for some pretty incredible growth. So here's our game plan for today. We'll start by really digging into this idea of the three-legged stool. Then we're going to build each leg one by one. First, we'll talk about parental empowerment. Second, a teacher's impact. And third, what I like to call the peer puzzle. And then at the end, we'll bring it all together with a practical toolkit you can literally start using today. All right, let's build our first and honestly most foundational leg, you, the parent. The research on this is just overwhelmingly clear. You as a parent have more influence than any single therapist or program ever will. And I want to be really clear, this isn't about adding more pressure. It's about empowerment. It's about recognizing the power you already have. Just listen to this quote from a mother in a research study. It just captures it perfectly. What she's describing here is something called emotional co-regulation. Think of it like being your child's emotional GPS. When you can stay calm and help them navigate those really big, overwhelming feelings, you're not just getting through a tough moment, you're teaching them how to regulate themselves. And as you can see from her experience, that change can be absolutely profound. And this isn't just a feeling. The data is, well, it's stunning. This chart shows what happens when parents are trained in specific strategies. We are not talking about small gains here. Look at this. Social communication skills improve by 85%. Behavioral regulation improves by 75%. And maybe most importantly, overall family well-being jumps by a whopping 90%. This shows that what you do at home has a direct, measurable, and incredibly powerful effect. Okay, but let's be real for a moment. This is incredibly hard work. The research shows that 80 to 90% of parents of autistic children experience stress levels that are above the clinical threshold. So please hear this. Managing your own stress is not selfish. It is literally one of the most important things you can do for your child. Because when you are regulated, it is profoundly easier to help your child co-regulate. So what actually works? Well, research points to three really powerful approaches. The first is acceptance and commitment therapy, or ACT. It helps you navigate those really difficult emotions without letting them control you. Then there's mindfulness, which helps you stay responsive instead of just reactive in those really tense moments. And critically, connecting with other autism parents, building that support network of people who just get it. Okay, so with that parental leg firmly in place, let's build our second one, the teacher. The quality of that student-teacher relationship is one of the single strongest predictors of an autistic child's success at school. Seriously, a single great relationship can change everything about their school experience. But here's the massive challenge we're up against. Look at this chart. A staggering 75% of general education teachers report having none autism-specific training. Now, this isn't about desire. Most teachers really want to help. They just haven't been given the tools they need to succeed. So what do the most effective teachers do differently? Well, the research points to a few key things. It often starts with just taking a genuine interest in a child's passions and finding creative ways to weave them into the lesson plan. It's built through those small moments, like spending even just 5 minutes of one-on-one time. And it's maintained by creating a classroom that feels safe and predictable, with things like clear visual schedules, a designated calm-down space, and maybe a meaningful classroom job that helps that child feel like they truly belong. And what's fascinating is that research has pinpointed one specific skill that has the biggest impact of all. It's called pragmatic language. That's basically the social give and take of conversation. Understanding social cues, knowing when it's your turn to talk. Why does this matter so much?
Well, because when a child can more easily express their needs or ask for help or share an idea, it builds this incredible bridge of understanding with their teacher. Supporting this one area can have a huge ripple effect on their entire school day.
And that brings us to our third and final leg, peers. This often feels like the hardest part of the puzzle, right? But some really exciting new research is asking us to completely shift our perspective on what social connection really means. At the very heart of this shift is a concept called the double empathy problem. Now, for decades, we assumed social difficulties were a deficit, something wrong inside the autistic person. This concept completely flips that on its head. It suggests the challenge is actually a two-way street. It's a fundamental mismatch in communication styles between autistic and non-autistic people. It means it's not just one side that needs to adapt, it's both. And getting this right is just so urgent. The statistics here are absolutely heartbreaking. Somewhere between 63 and 88% of autistic students report being bullied. And we're not just talking about teasing. This is often relentless, and it has a devastating impact on their mental health and their very ability to feel safe enough to even learn. This forces us to ask a really critical question. As a society, we've gotten much better at what we call physical inclusion, making sure autistic students are in the same classroom. But is that the same thing as true social inclusion? Because being in the room is not the same as being part of the group, having friends, and feeling like you truly deeply belong. So we have our three legs: parents, teachers, and peers. Now let's bring it all together. This final section is your practical toolkit, concrete actions you can take starting right now to strengthen each leg of that support system. Okay, for parents, the focus is all about connection and clarity. Use visual schedules so there's less anxiety about what's coming next. Follow your child's lead and join them in their interests to show them you value their world. Use super concrete language, like gentle hands instead of a vague, be nice. And always, always remember, validate the feeling even when you have to redirect the behavior. I see that you're angry, but we don't throw things. For teachers, it's all about creating safety and flexibility. A simple greeting by name at the door can tell a student, I see you, I'm glad you're here. A designated quiet space provides a predictable escape valve for when they start to feel overwhelmed. Breaking down big assignments prevents shutdown. And allowing different ways to show what they know, like a drawing instead of an essay, can let their true abilities shine through. And for that crucial third leg, the peer leg, we can be proactive. You can advocate for structured programs like peer buddies at school, which create guided, positive opportunities for connection. You can request social groups that include neurotypical peers, because that's where that mutual understanding is actually built. Support disability awareness in the classroom to foster empathy. And at home, role-playing tough social situations can build a child's confidence for when they face it in the real world. As we start to wrap up, I really want to leave you with this reminder, which is a core theme in so much of the research. You are the expert on your child, period. All of this information is meant to empower you, not overwhelm you. So trust your instincts, stay open to new ideas, and please remember that progress is rarely a straight line. There will be good days and bad days, and that's okay. So I'll leave you with this final question. We've seen that a strong support system isn't built in one giant leap. It's built from countless small, intentional actions. Knowing that, what is one small change you can make today to strengthen one of the legs of your child's support system?